Alright, here it is. The Vega LED lights. This is the reason I'll be eating top ramen for the next 2 months. These bad boys are the new Aquaillumination lights that came out last week and have just arrived today. I purchased them from Salty Supply, who also threw in this free shirt. This is what the lights look like here, and then this is the back of the lights. Pretty slick. Here's the wireless controller. Super tiny, super cool. I gotta play with it and figure out how to work this thing. And then the EXT rails that will be mounted to the lights. So I'll go ahead and get to work on this and mount these bad boys up. Before we get into the actual lights, I wanted to go over these EXT rails. There are a variety of ways you can place these XT rails and configure them to your tank as you want them. The way I did it is I went through the back of the tank and down the back wall where the tank sits. So I have a 12-inch rail here, connects to the top of the 48-inch rail and comes out 12 inches, and then you screw it down using these little screws and locks the head of the unit into place. And then back here you have another set screw to lock the 12-inch arm onto the 48-inch arm. The way I did it is I came down the back wall here and placed a piece of board against the wall for extra support and placed those into the studs of the wall. Then here you see the clamp, and what you do with the clamp is there's 2 screws that sit there, and you loosen the screws and then you can move the 40-inch rail up or down to determine how high you want your lights to be off the surface of the water. AI recommends that you mount these lights approximately 4 inches from the surface of the water. Mine are 8 inches from the surface of the water. Having them 4 inches plus these glass tops, plus doing water changes, just makes me a little worried that you're going to get some splash back on these lights and ruin them. So I went 8 inches. Makes it a little bit easier for me to get in and out with these glass covers. And I'll make adjustments if needed, but right now they're at 8 inches. And that's how I have it. So it's basically the 12-inch arm that comes out, the 48-inch arm that goes in the back of the tank in my setup, that clamp. You can see, where is it? Right there. That's the clamp. And I bought 2 sets of each. So the other one's always set up on the other side there against the back wall. The other configuration I could have done with this particular EXT arm was to come up off the side of the tank here, come up off the side, come up this way, and then the arm would come across the top of the tank. I didn't want to do that because I thought it looked kind of cheesy. When we're building these aquariums, we want to make them look as natural as possible with the least amount of mechanical devices visible. So that's the way I went. The Vegas come standard with the 80-degree 5-up lenses, which give you a broader spread of light. You get the best par out of these lights when these lights are mounted 4 inches above the water line, like I said earlier. They each have independent fans, and they turn on automatically whenever the temperature reaches its point where the fan needs to come on. Each light head has a red button, and that's just to turn on and off the lights manually. If you choose not to get a controller, that's how you would turn them on and off. You just won't be able to go through the cool features that the controller has. and then you'll see that there's a little light on the side of each head, and when they're green just means that they've been paired up with a controller. When they're red means that they have not been paired up with a controller. Pretty nifty lights. So let's go ahead and turn them on. I wanted to point out that I do not have any colored corals or colored fish, for the exception of a hiding damsel in the tank. So unfortunately I can't demonstrate how these lights look up against the colored corals and stuff like that. So just keep in mind, we're just doing a review of what these lights can do and the settings that we have for them. Here's a demo mode. I'll just show it for a little bit, but it just goes through all the different colors of each LED in the Vegas in a kind of a disco-y fashion. Just mainly kind of to show off your friends or whatever. But we'll go ahead and show this for a little bit and then move on to the other settings. Okay, this next setting will be coral acclimation mode. And basically what that just did is it reduced all the lights by 50%. You could even play with the percentage to reduce it 60%, 40%, depending on what kind of coral you want to acclimate. And then you could set the amount of days that you want the acclimation process to continue. So not too exciting, but it's a very good feature to have, especially when you want to acclimate the more sensitive corals. I apologize for the reflection back there. I try to fix it. This is what the lights will look like from sunrise to sunset in the sped up version. The next mode I'll do is called the weather effects. Basically it's a storm mode, and we'll go ahead and see what that looks like. You start seeing the cloud cover and then some lightning. The cloud cover is starting to come. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Okay, in this last part of the video, I just want to go over some recommendations I would have for AI and their next generation of LED lights. I wanted to start off with this USB charger for the wireless controller. When I first plugged this thing in, it popped, sparked, and smoked, and basically fried it. No longer works. Never had an issue with any other devices that I plugged into that outlet, so maybe something a little bit more reliable will be much appreciated. The controller itself takes a USB port plug. If this controller were to be unplugged while the lights were on, you no longer have communication, the programmable communication for the lights. So the lights are going to stay on until you come home and manually turn them off or plug the controller back in. It would be a nice feature, and I know there might be third-party controllers coming out, but it'd be a nice feature to have this battery operated as well as be able to plug it in, or maybe even rechargeable batteries, and plug it in as needed, so that it'd be more like a remote control and you can not have to rely on it being plugged in. An additional comment I like to make for the wireless controller would be it'd be nice to have like a sleeve where you can screw it into the side of your stand or wherever you like, and then slide the controller into that sleeve and pull it back out as needed. Right now I just fashioned Velcro to the side of the tank here, and this is where I kind of store it and leave it plugged in at all times. The other criticism, I guess you can say, is it'd be nice to have, let me turn on lights here. In regards to the EXT rails, it'd be nice to have an option to mount the rails on the back like I have them, but then flip the lights parallel to the tank so that the lights are lengthwise across the tank instead of the way I have them here, going across from back to front. I like them to have the option to go from one side of the tank to the other in this fashion here. Now I know I can do that if I were to mount these rails on the side of the tank, but like I said, I don't like that look. It's too much visible metal that I'd rather have hidden. The other option that would be nice for these EXTs would be to have like this arm be able to swing up and then lock into position like this, so that the Aquarius could get in here, in and out, do water changes without worrying too much about water splashing on these. All in all, I'm really happy with these lights. I'm excited to get the corals and the fish in there and to see what it looks like against the colors of the corals and the fish. But that will conclude my little mini review of the Vega lights from the beginner's perspective. Thanks for watching.